do they know what they want?
The Genesis know what we want. Because they have demonstrated, they have come up and they have said, these old folks who gave birth to us do not know what we want today. And this is the way forward. And then instead, PBI, you kill a whole generation with one document on the table. Sasa sisi ndio vijana jinsi wakae kando, sisi tuko hapa tufanye nini? I'm willing to give up. I'm willing to give up if these people come up and say, this is what you want. But you know what? You get some old men, some of them like myself, who are fossils. Let me use the words of Sifuna. Fossil, the kind of characters coming in to sit on the graves of Kenyans, coming in to think they are better than. And you'll find out that this person has been a member of parliament, he has been a senator, he has been a governor, he has been a minister, and he wants to continue that legacy by bringing in his spouses, his concubines, and his children. Yet the Gen Z generation is forgotten. And that's why I like Uhuru Kenyatta when he actually said that this issue is a melting pot and it's going to melt, yes, indeed. And they did not put policies together. We want policies that gear towards unemployment. We want policies that gear towards putting food on the table, particularly food production. We want policies that look at industrialization. We want policies that will look into situations and see what is it that we need to do. Where have we failed? And do we have countries that have actually succeeded, like Singapore? Where was Singapore in 1963, 1966? And where was Kenya at that particular time? What went wrong? What about corruption? Nobody is speaking about corruption. I wouldn't give you a cent if it's not justified. I take a loan to service that loan, and then outside there you get somebody who's coming up with money, measuring money on the scales. Where has this fool gotten this money from? If he has not stolen it. Alafu anapigiwa makofi. Kenyans, I have to blame you. Unapigia mwizi makofi atamelete. Sasa it becomes a darling. Wake up and look for people who can revive this country. Look at religious leaders today. Are they not the ones who brought us these problems?
How so? One
of them here abused me to be a bang smoker. This is Muheria. Muheria is the one who made a proclamation in Meru, in Nyeri, that this man is a bang smoker. Have I ever even smoked? I was using this to let Kenyans know what we are going to engage them. They took me to court because they said we cannot have a bang smoker. They misunderstood me as a caricature. Here they are again now fighting and saying, oh, this is wrong. Yet they are the ones who are accepting money in the church. And if you find a church that accepts corrupt money, that's not a church, that's a business. So they should shut up.
Should they not call it out if they see it? Because the human mind allows you to have differing opinions in the same mind at different times.
What does the Bible speak about morality?
What does it say?
What are the 10 commandments speak? Don't they speak that thou shalt not steal? What about the Quran speak about stealing? What is the punishment? Is it not cutting off your arm?
Yes.
But when you come to Kenya, I give you money and you don't ask me where it has come from. And you are a church. Then you're going to build that church with the stolen money. Then you are going to heal souls from stolen environment. We don't want to see this kind of... It is this hypocrisy that you are trying to come out with. But people don't want to listen to people like us. Utakuta wengine wanasema huyo ni wazimu, wachaneni na huyo. But I will still remain a madman, and I'm happy to be a madman if things don't change. Let's speak about our country.
What are the things that you see right now that need to change? I mean, I think we all have a shopping list of things that need to actually start to be progressive. Everybody, and I think we're almost getting tired of it, that everybody gives example of Singapore without telling the truth of what Singapore really did to make sure that they went towards economic development. They sacrificed. They got rid of people who were guilty of stealing the country's money. They punished people They punished people, some people to death, because of what they did in that country to bleed the country dry. They insisted on plans. They implemented them. They sacked people who were not ready to work. We talk about it all the time. Singapore, 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 till we're blue in the face. But are you ready to follow the blueprint? I don't know of an architect who designs a building and then hands it over to the construction and says, okay, well, here's the plan, but do whatever you want to build the building. No. You have to follow the blueprint.
Roots Party manifesto is very clear that we shall hang all the thieves. We shall do away with some part of the Constitution, the human rights of the Constitution, which makes a thief who has stolen money earmarked for hospital and 500 patients. People have died because of this one man stealing money for drugs. Now you take that man today to court, and because of the market friendliness of corruption in courts, the judiciary, you find this person being given bail, and then the case will go on, and then after some time you'll find, they have been freed. In Wajackoyah's government, this is what will happen. As soon as I'm sworn in, trust me.
You'll suspend the Constitution?
Part of it, because there is nothing like a Constitution. A lot of people in this country are so ignorant of the word Constitution. There's only, the Constitution of this country is in the preamble. Just a few words, we the people. Anything that coming below can be changed by we the people, including myself. Let's have not the rigidity of censored mind, because a white man told us about the constitutional conventions, constitution, which was copied and pasted. What we shall do, and this is part of our philosophy, we shall set up a tribunal made up of civilians, the clergy, members of the armed forces, let me say a jury type of tribunal, to try criminals. And they will be given a right of appeal. Those found guilty, Uhuru Park, we shall hang them upside down. If we hang at least 50, then that will minimize. Look at Greater Somaliland. You can go to Greater Somaliland and leave your money there, go to the hotel or carry on your business and come and find it. Greater Somaliland the other day was a pariah state. So we need an iron fist president to put things right. How can one man own the entire land equivalent to the whole of Kisumu? Look at some of these leaders who are acquiring land every day, and people are squattering in their own land. Look at Taita Taveta. The people of Taita Taveta are squatters in their own land. The Maasai community, that's community land. I'm putting them on notice. I'm putting them on notice that Wajackoyah's government will hang them. And I'm not joking.
Professor, we look at the problem that we have as a country, and I want to look at a situation where Kenyans finally take charge. But what do I mean with that? So political parties have always come up with their manifesto, including you have your manifesto. But here is a position where, are we ready for a conversation where Kenyans say, we have seen your manifesto. These are our issues. This is our manifesto. That we want you to implement the issues that we have, and this is our agenda. Are we looking at a point where finally the political class will listen to the Mwananchi, take the views of Mwananchi, and work on that problem?
It's possible. I've lived in the UK for over 20 years. I've lived in the US. I've practiced in both countries, and I've seen the conventions and the constitution of the US, of course, with the state government constitution. You know, if you have a people's driven manifesto, a manifesto that has been, that emanates from the people themselves. For example, in the UK, if you want to implement anything, you have town hall meetings where people can sit down in town halls and discuss what they want to be done by the local assembly. And then they will have to vote on that, and whoever is approved has a right of judicial review to review any decision that has come from them. In Kenya, you cannot write a policy for Mama Mboga without involving Mama Mboga.
Surely.
And we have, for example, Roots Party is coming up with the regionalization of the government, where we can actually have 8 regions, each region either with a chief minister or a prime minister, and then counties and local governments within that region so that they can debate. In this sense, power will be taken back to the people to actually discuss what they want and how they want it done, as opposed to one central policy, which comes from top-down mechanism. Let us decentralize stuff. The Luos can sit and say, this is Lake Victoria. We have been trading fish and mining fish from this lake for many years. We have been using this water for this. What we now want is we want some kind of sanitation, an industry, what have you, instead of taking fish from Lake Victoria and processing it in Thika. I mean, these are things that if people are given authority and are given incentives and are given and supported by finances, then people will decide to do what they want to do at that particular time. Look at the Maasai, for example. The Maasai Narok country rears cattle. They have wheat. Tourism is a water catchment area and it's a human resource area. Now you find out that the revenue that is collected in this area, instead of going to be debated in Narok County, so that Narok County can actually look at the needs for required at that particular level, so that they can say, okay, we shall vote to apportion this amount of money because of the needs, and then the rest we shall take it to Nakuru, which is the capital city of Rift Valley, in that case, so that Nakuru can also debate and then send a fraction of that money to central government. Then you will see that there will be a trajectory of circulation of money within and collection revenue. But here, money is collected, taken somewhere, then account is given, and you have very corrupt governance in this country. 90% of governors in Kenya ought to be executed because the situation is so bad that the money either is delayed or even if it comes in, contractors are not paid, employees of the counties are not paid, and nobody can ask. And the Senate, instead of doing its work of oversight, they're busy running to counties, like what happened in Busia the other day when they were really putting down and talking down upon the governor of Busia. And then at night, they're seen dancing together and drinking and whining.
You seem to think that, or you seem to, be liking this idea that the only answer to a lot of the rot that is existent in the country currently is death by its perpetrators.
Death by?
The perpetrators of this rot. You seem to think that the only answer is not having prosecution, is death.
I talked of prosecution.
Yeah.
I talked of a tribunal and the rule of law.
Should they be found guilty?
Yes. They have a right to appeal, but we shall have special tribunals anchored in law. Yeah. It's not just picking somebody and killing him.
Right.
No. Jury kind of tribunal that will listen to their case.
Still will follow the law.
Yes.
Still will follow the law. All right. I asked you what you think the issues are that are currently in the country. According to you, what do you think the ones are that need attention at the moment, that somebody would need to deliver this country from?
Complete overhaul of the whole system. Because we are tired of people going into election mood after every election. And then we are also tired of the opposition ganging up instead of talking to Kenyans and asking Kenyans what they want. So we need a complete overhaul of electoral system. We need also to reform the electoral system. Like now, right now, we are in an era of voter registration. I have a different opinion. Voter registration should be done at a time when somebody wants to acquire an ID, so that we don't actually come in this issue of entrepreneur and what have you. And we need just to overhaul what we can. We need to talk to each other, and we need implementation. We don't have an implementer. We have every resources we have in the country, but we don't have a mechanism of implementation because everyone now, including from the president top down, they're all corrupt.
So there's not a problem with lack of resources like we're told all the time?
No, we have everything. Kenya has got 8 climates. You can move from one to the other within 14, 15 minutes. We have land. Land has everything. We have waters with the fish. We have human resource. We have schools. All we need is a thorough cleanup of the system.
So, Prof, When you talk about elections in the country, there's a body that comes in for IEBC. The election system that you say also need an overhaul. But even as we talk about IEBC, as we speak right now, there is the voter registration exercise that is ongoing. The numbers that you've received is a little bit over 90,000 Kenyans.
It was 2.8 million, but they had to steal everything to make it. Yeah.
So the official numbers we've gotten is 90,000. But they're targeting to get 6.3 million. You say the numbers are 2 point something million.
Oh, I thought you were asking me what I got before.
No.
Sorry.
Say the registration that is ongoing at the moment. So when we talk about the ongoing exercise by IEBC, one would say there is no information. Kenyans do not know, first of all, where they're supposed to go register, and the entire practice, the distance involved is far. Do you, where you sit as Wajackoyah, because you'll be going to elections, the IEBC will be there. Do you trust IEBC to deliver? And what's your comment on the ongoing voter registration exercise being undertaken by IEBC?
It's a sham, because if you look at let me give an example of registration in the diaspora in the last election. In America, they only registered 100. And how many Kenyans are in the US? That's number one. The issue was fear. If we register, Luos could be more than Kikuyus, or Kikuyus could be more. So if we register more of this, that was number one. Number two, can they avail data of registration today and tell us the mechanisms that they are using? Yet you have these illegalities of chiefs and county commissioners, something that was abrogated by the previous constitution. Why can't they use these county commissioners, regional commissioners, to register people? Why can't they come up with a blueprint and say that every Kenyan who is not registered, you should go to the nearest county commissioner's office and register there? So whatever they are doing to me, and also following the way the IBC commission was constituted, it was just a rubber stamp to stamp Ruto's authority in 2027.
So if there's no trust of the body that is going to be essentially that is already entrusted constitutionally to then carry out voter registration, voter education, and then oversee elections. If there's no trust there already with a new, and that's why I guess you have a new IEBC with every election. Yeah. It doesn't happen in many countries. The IEBC that you had in place for the last election likely will be there for another, except for the countries that don't have a body to oversee elections. They have volunteers that are plugged into a system. But if there's no trust for a system in the very beginning, it seems as though we are many paces behind the starting line even before we begin the race.
In the last election, do your due diligence. And as a media house, just find out how many returning officers we had in the last elections and how many came from which tribe.
What would that matter?
And how many came from which tribe. That's what I'm repeating myself. And once you have found out that, then you can sit down and debate again. Also, let's look at how many returning officers will be in this coming election, and how many will come from which tribe. And let's look at those people who come here, those experts who come to count the votes or to bring those machines that count votes and what have you.
I'm sure we can find out what those numbers are.
Voter printing. Do we have them being printed now? Have they been printed?
Oh, still
are they in the process of being printed? Who is printing them? How many are being printed? And then we can sit down and... Because we also get raw intelligence anyway.
Sure, I'm sure we can come up with those, we can find that information. But there's something that you're alluding to, Prof. That there is because the question was, if there is no trust in a body that's constitutionally mandated to carry out processes prior to, after an election, then essentially, what are we saying? Are we going to see the same thing that we saw before? And then you adding what could be an allusion to that there is something underhanded or untoward going on towards this process?
Probably, and let's not just look at the IBC. Let's look at the Supreme Court. And let's look at what people like Martha Koome, whom I have no respect for, came up with some proposition or some regulations saying that we shall only have these timelines to listen to litigation and we shall not allow this. She was speaking as if she had come from Anno Domini or the kingdom come. And she's like, who was she to interfere, to speak for, to decide for? And then you get her saying, and then we shall only allow Raila and Ruto, not any other person, as if I never ran for president. Those are kind of animals that need to be flushed out because of inequities in the system, and nobody's willing to point at those particular things. We need complete overhaul, and if the Supreme Court has to come out with the regulations, let those regulations be debated in Parliament and be passed into legislation. Instead of waiting for people like us going to the High Court because I was an interested party and I'm thrown out. Hey, Mr. Wajackoyah, go away. You are not, come on, we don't need that. Sorry.
Prof, we've described the problem with the country. Look at the election, IEBC, there is a problem. Look at the economy, there's a problem. Human rights, a problem. Diplomacy, a problem. But even as we talk about that, you want to be president of the Republic of Kenya. If today, George Wajackoyah, president of the Republic of Kenya, what solutions do you bring on the table?
I will not say that now, but let's wait until I become. Let me convince Kenyans with my manifesto. And then we wait when I take over.
That's interesting because President William Ruto, in the last couple of weeks, when he's been to different destinations, the one thing that he's been repeating is that those who have been saying that he's doing such a poor job don't have a plan. He said it yesterday as well, and he said all of these people who are saying one term, that's fine, but they don't have anything else to offer that we who are here at least are doing. I mean, he's gone on and said a number of things, but he said the crux here being that even for those who want to come in and take over, they don't have a plan, and neither are they talking about it now.
Actually, on that one, I agree with Ruto. Yeah, for the first time, let me say it openly. Yes, they don't have anything to offer. Yes, I'm also seeing that. What they have to offer is Ruto's name every day. They have not sat down, they have not come out, they have not asked, or maybe I'm naive on this, they have not come up and shown us what they have agreed as an economic political blueprint for the nation so that they can actually distribute this for people to debate it. At least Ruto, as bad as he is, of course he's very bad, let me just put it that way, he's doing the bad things and he's offering those bad things. And we are seeing those bad things. But then these colleagues of mine are not offering anything. And maybe it's from that proposition that he's talking.
Are you the alternative? And what is the alternative?
Why not? I'm the alternative because I have an iron hand. I know exactly how to fix things.
Okay, so tell me one thing that you would fix. I think it's very interesting. Just give us one example,
Corruption.
Prof. And how would you, I mean, you've told us that you will send people to tribunals and that, would that set a precedent?
Yes.
Would that set a precedent for others who think, oh my goodness, if I get my finger stuck in the cookie jar, then there's a possibility
Yes,
that I may
yes.
be hanged in the public gallows?
Yes.
Okay.
Corruption is key before we discuss any other thing. Corruption. The looted money, the looted land, whatever did what, crimes never wrought. We shall have to bring that out. We shall have a busy year of dealing with corruption and returning back what was stolen. And we can also close some embassies that have allowed our monies to be stashed in their countries. It will not be business as usual.
What would be your approach to education and health in the country? Because you look at education, capitation is a problem. Students of this country went to class and third term, money has not been sent. They went home without that being sent. Talk about healthcare. SHA today in the country is a problem. Wajackoyah, what would be your solution? Because then again, as president, it is in your docket.
I will not have a solution because the solution is already there. I will go into Kenyatta One administration and look at what he did that was so successful. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta had the best blueprint in terms of education, because education was free. He had the best blueprint in terms of healthcare, because healthcare was free and available and affordable. Mzee Kenyatta's policies on agriculture were very excellent because Kenya was able to export food and livestock. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's policies were adopted by other countries that became a success. Botswana adopted Mzee's policy. Singapore adopted Mzee's policy. So all you need is to implement. But I will do away with CBC. Yeah.
Why is that a problem?
Yeah, because how do you expect? Matiang'i brought some kind of weird system of education. And I blame him on that forever. You come up with something and you say that we are going to adapt this without putting down the infrastructure. How do you expect a child in Pokot to learn on swimming classes or to learn about computerization without infrastructure being put there and issues of poverty being alleviated so that you educate a child who is not hungry? So that thing is a sham and it's a scam. I'll do away with it.
Kenyans need a leader who is service delivery oriented. We've seen the opposite, that leaders get to power and the next thing that starts immediately is campaigns for the next election and not service delivery. How would you cure that, having to be on that seat, ensuring that legislators do their bit, the presidency does their bit, the cabinet does their bit? What is your solution to that?
I'll be a benevolent dictator.
Okay. And what does that entail?
Yeah. I'll be a benevolent dictator because I'll have to dictate some of these things. People might say that it will be inhuman. People might say that I will be a dictator, but I will have to do things with an iron fist, especially dealing with people who have put this country into a position where it is today.
With the right plans in place, with the proper mode of implementation and punishment for those who would have been involved in getting this country into the mess that it is currently, it looks that could be a three-pronged approach towards the kind of leadership that you would offer if being given the chance. Is that right?
Yes, and I'll have to include Gen Zs. Gen Zs will make much of the decisions because we saw what they did recently and how they have been very successful in countries like Bengal, Nepal, Madagascar, and now Tanzania. That kind of revolution is needed, holistic revolution and holistic approach, whereby we don't have just a one-man band kind of system. Let's have these boys sit down with them and put them in all avenues of governance.
And that's how it would work. Professor George Wajackoyah is the Roots Party leader. He's also a presidential aspirant 2027. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Always good to talk. Good morning at 9 a.m.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.